Students, today I had uploaded something in Google Classroom. Have you checked it? Anyone has checked it? Yes? No? Not yet. Okay, you check it. I am just showing what I had uploaded. I had uploaded all the data file separately, which I had used in today's, you can say, which I will use in today's revision session. All the data file individually. The data ready set, you can say. So we will see one by one. Screen is, I think, hopefully visible, or it is not visible. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Now screen is visible. See all the data set which I will work. It has been individually uploaded. वो Excel file तो दी ही है, but again in mini tab all the data files which are individual with a data set, and you will get to know that how to work on it. That has been uploaded. I will show you this. This is all worksheets that I had prepared for you all. And like for example, we would start our workshop now. Obviously, 5, 10, and like when we have started our workshop. So the first thing what we have seen the graphical things. So when you just click on SS1, that is our data set one. Basically, what we had done, we had just calculated the summary statistics of all of the data. Like it was a data of a caffeine percentage of a coffee of 40 number of batches. So again, you all know how to calculate it. Now I think it has been repeatedly taught you. But then also I will just give a brief that how to do it. So when you go on statistics, just click on display statistics. You just enter the variable, the numerical variable. Remember, when you just enter in numerical variable, go in a statistics tab, whatever you want, like median, mean, median, range, even n total, cumulative, even percentage. All the other statistics can be shown if you with one click. Just clicking it, you will get all the things. One more thing I had taught you, just go to graphic summary. See, it is one of the most important thing we need to learn. When we need to see data is a normal or not, at that time graphic summary is most important. It shows us this all detail, like it shows me the bell shaped curve, it shows me box plots, it shows me lines, it also shows me the Anderson-Darling normality test, whether my data is normal or not. What is my n, what is my minimum value, maximum value, first quartile, third quartile, and median. So this was the first task. Any doubt in this, anyone? So basic, it was a basic, you can say, step which I had started, initiation step that was done in our data set 1. Now you move to data set 2. See, now your data set 2 has that total time of reclaim data part. So it has maximum number of variable. It was near about 521. Just check it. See, now don't check it like this way as I am checking it. You can check it directly. You just have to click on stats, basic statistics, display descriptive statistics. Just enter it. Remember, when you enter the variable, it should be numerical. It should not be categorical. When you just click OK, you will get all the basic summary that your data set is of pi 21. There is zero missing value, the mean, and all the things. But on the basis of it, we had learned to prepare, you can say, histogram, and we know how to prepare the histogram. So obviously, if you want to just see it, you just have to click from About tab. But our purpose is learning. So again, you need to go to statistics, sorry, in graph, move towards histogram. Always select simple histogram, click it OK. Just insert the variable as I had worked on it. So the variable is inserted. Even when you just open this tab, you would be having same, but you need to insert it if it is not worked. You just click OK. You will get the histogram of a data, and obviously this histogram is not having a proper, you can say, bell shape curve. This data is not normal. Now suppose if you want to check that whether this data is normal or not, again the same procedure we can do it. Just go to states, click on graphical summary, just click OK. You will get overall thing that this data is not normal. Even your p-value of Anderson-Darling normality test is less than zero point 0.5. So here your data is not showing normality. Even you can see your mean and all the frequency has been not properly highlighted. See, this box plot is also shown. So this way you can find out whether data is not normal or not. So we had done this all activities in our second data set. Um, Even a summary report that I had explained. One more thing we can do it. Just when you just prepare this like histogram, it is, you can prepare it with fit, like the bell shaped curve which we have seen, that can directly be prepared here. Just click OK. See the bell shaped curve which I had explained in previous, that the data shows abnormality that can be known by just applying this with fit curve. So hopefully remember this thing. Histogram we can use only numerical data, and still we are doing one variable. Now we are studying only one variable, and that is an important thing we need to learn. Then we had moved to our data set 3. So in Minitab, when we have seen our data set 3, it was a categorical data. Categorical data means when I had just given that claim reclaim, then from which side or from which country, these are the two initials of different country, the claim was more and claim was less. So remember, when the data is categorical, you can just plot two types of chart, and that is basically one is bar chart and second is pie chart. So first I will just plot bar chart on this kind of variable. Obviously it would be a simple bar chart because one variable is there. I just click OK, and I will just enter it as the data is entered, because as I had said, I had practiced on this data set. When I just click OK, you will find out that bar chart shows me the proper data. Like it shows me the least, that is N2 has a least call, or you can say count, whereas OX has a maximum counts. So that can be calculated through bar chart. But one more method is there for representation of this kind of categorical data is pie chart. So we can apply pie chart also, but sometimes pie chart is not favorable if your data would be having more variability. Just check it. See here, when I just apply the same pie chart on this data, you can get a same kind of output which we were seeing. Like least is somewhat here and maximum is our OX. But here we need to work more hard. Like we need to see the OX is a red part and it is having maximum value. So if the categories are less, then pie chart is feasible. Otherwise, you need to Any doubt to anyone, students? Till now, any doubt to anyone? Yes, no? Great. Then we had seen our next data set, and that was our SS4 or Six Sigma fourth data set. It was of tele. Okay. Now see, sometimes your data is categorical and it has a repeated frequency. Now this kind of data cannot be represented in our bar chart. Like suppose I will show you, suppose I am making a pie chart of this data. You just see what would be the outcome. It is a categorical data, and obviously I am just entering it and I am just seeing it. I can understand nothing. My pie chart has something which doesn't show me a proper interpretation of a data. Even I can just, for this kind of data, bar chart is more suitable. So just see it. When I just click OK, so here I get maximum information. So this kind of data is there, like it depends upon data set, whether you are having more variability or less variability. Variability means change. If less variability is there, then bar chart is more suitable. If variability is more, than pie chart, you can use it for representation of category data. But now suppose I wanted to count that how many times Mr. Jen Senior is repeated or Mr. Nees are repeated. So that can easily be done by using one test. Basically, just go to table and just click on this tally individual variable. We need to go to states, and after that we need to just go to table and tally individual variable. I just enter the value as I had worked on it, but on the basis of it you can find out this all things. We would be just requiring two data points, that is our counts, percentage, and I am just clicking OK. See the basic thing. You get a tally that obviously Mr. Hank is counting 17 times. So repeated frequency was 17 times. Mr. Jan Jr. was having 17 times. Same way, we have all the data point. So this way, we can prepare a tally count table on the basis of such frequency. Then we had seen our data set 5. So when we are seeing our data set 5, it was about Pareto chart. Like, do you remember that the case was there of a bakery, and there were stops which were held due to this of the causes, which was a deviation in dimension, break, and all other things. So we need to consider the two things. One is stops and second is duration. So when I just found out why it was working, so just I need to apply the principle of Pareto, that is 80-20 rule. Why? Because as I had discussed, that 80% of a problem have 20% of the cause. So to know or to relate that, I had just applied a Pareto chart. So just go to stats, go to quality tool, and run Pareto chart. When you just go it, obviously I had done it. So first was my cause variable, and second, if I wanted to see on the basis of duration, so I will just see the duration and I will click OK. See, my beautiful Pareto chart is there. Now to understand that Pareto chart, that is most important. Like I had to see the bars, like what are the 20% of the problem which gives me 80% of the result. So like for example, these are the 80% of the problem, and obviously till here these are the basic four problems which causes maximum duration of time, or which consumes maximum duration of stoppage of machinery. And you can control, like you can reduce the break, you can see the, you can improve the deviation in dimensions, you can just change that mold or something like that. You can change the oven because it also takes many you can say out of order. So if like oven is having more wear and tear, you can replace it. Problem with dough. So these are the basic four problems you came to know by conducting a Pareto, that is a cause and if you can say Pareto chart analysis. Same way, the Pareto chart can be prepared. See, the one of the best thing, as I had discussed with you, that you don't need to go again and again to other things like states and again Pareto chart. You can directly go to this. You can, like whatever the last action was done, that can be from this white box. You can just click on white box and repeat the things. Now my frequency would be changed to stops. Number of stops occurred due to the causes. So when I just applied, so maximum of cause was because of these two reasons. That is three reasons. Sorry, the 82.4. So near about my problems are these three problems. That is deviation. Just see that you just have to see cumulative frequency, whereas 82 comes in third variable. So just check it. The three problems are major. Like for example, deviation in dimension is major problem, break is major problem, and problem with door. These are the basic has more frequency counts. So these three problems can be highlighted by a bakery owner to reduce the problem. So as I had discussed, this is a basic rule of Pareto chart we need to learn, and on the basis of it we can work more efficiently. Then next we had conducted uh, like a scatter plot. Now from now we were working on two dimension or two variables. So now two dimension plots were mostly used. So now there were two numerical variables. One was caffeine content, and second variable is extraction time. So now if both the variable are numerical, remember both the variable are numerical, you can run scatter plot. But on the basis of scatter plot, you can know where the direction moves. So just remember, just click on scatter plot, run simple scatter plot, click OK. As here I had just entered my data, and that's why otherwise you need to see which is your x variable and which is your y variable. Remember the cause variable. Remember the cause variable should be okay. Okay. Remember, without, like, for example, without this both, or without like x and y variable. So remember, the cause variable is always x variable, and effect variable is always y variable. So most important thing is like extraction time. Due to the extraction time, content was going down. That we will see in graph also, but we need to identify the variables, which variable is affecting to which variable. So which variable is affected, that becomes your y variable, and which is the cause variable, that would be always x variable. So just click OK. See now here I got my scatter plot. Obviously it has a negative correlation. Suppose the data or the dots move from right like lower to right side, then it would be positive correlation. Suppose the dot would make somewhere circle here, then it would make zero correlation. So that basic we know, but then also I just have visualized my data as having a correlation, but I need to find a correlation. So obviously we need to calculate states, and on the basis of states we just have to go to correlation. We just have to again click all the variables like caffeine content and extraction time. We need to run Pearson correlation. There is no ranks given. If the ranks are given, then we need to run, as I had replaced this caffeine content with another name, so that makes up trouble. Suppose like, just give me. Okay, it shows me negative value. It has a negative value. But suppose here two judges are there, like judge 1 and judge 2. Suppose I am just making one example now, and suppose both are ranking, like for example from 10 marks, and suppose there are 5 contestants, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And suppose judge 1 is giving 8 marks to first contender, uh, 7 marks to second contender, 6 marks to third contender, 9 marks to fourth contender, and fifth contender gets 10 marks. Now, again, the same judge 2 is sitting. Suppose he gives 9 marks to first contender, 6 marks to second contender, 5 marks to third contender, 7 marks to fourth contender, and again 9 marks to last contender. So now suppose I just wanted to check whether their both rank, or you can say whether they have given a judgment, their ideology matches or not. So here I need to use rank correlation method, and that can be also done with our Minitab software. You just need to go to statistics, basic statistics. Again you need to go to correlation, change all the thing, just write J1 and J2. Here you need to change Spearman's rank correlation method, and on the basis of it you will get the answer. Yes, there is a positive correlation, that is 82%. So their both rank are matching on the basis of 82 percentage. So till now, anyone is having any doubt? Till now, students, anyone is having any doubt anywhere? No. Okay. So we would be moving to. I am not fast, no. I am moving as per the flow, no. You all are getting the proper information, right? Yes, great. Chalo, fine. Now we are moving towards next topic. Now we have came to our seventh data set, and okay, now seventh data set was preparation for box plot. So remember your one variable is numerical variable, another variable is categorical variable. You can prepare a box plot on the basis of a requirement. But remember, you need to know x and y variable here. See here the extractor of a machine, that is your categorical variable, and caffeine percentage is your, uh, you can say, numerical variable. So here your extractor number is obviously your effecting vector, that is x variable, whereas caffeine becomes y variable because number of machines, like which machine would be there where caffeine percentage is extracted, that we are seeing. So extractor machine is your main variable. On the basis of it the effect comes for caffeine percentage. So we know now which is x and which is y variable. So just prepare a box plot. within group. Remember, don't go here multiple y, it is not like that. You just need to go one y within group. You just click on it. You just enter both the variable, like here. Just need to give me 1 minute. So here caffeine percentage is your sorry, your categorical variable is extractor number and graph variable is caffeine percentage. Remember, categorical number is always describing the categories. And just click on scale. Obviously, don't do transpose because your x and y variable are like same. Your x variable is machinery, whereas your y variable is caffeine. So here normal box plot would be plotted. So just by click you will get a normal box plot and you would be seeing the caffeine percentage extracted by the machine. So your machine 1 and your machine 2 is okay. Your machine 1 and machine 2 is okay. But due to some of the problem in machine 3, like we need a extraction not more than 10. But here it we are getting more than 10 on the basis of our box plot that is near about starting from 11 and it goes to 14 point something. So our machine 3 has some problem. We need to check the machine 3. So that was a basic, you can say, you can compare the box plot. You can even compare the mean by just clicking on a center of a box plot. Now the concept has changed. Now see, pass or fail depends on a grade. So now case has inversed. Now here maths grade become your x variable and your pass or fail become your y variable, and y variable is categorical and x variable becomes your numerical, or you can say it's numerical. So when you click on it, the same graph, when you just plot a box plot within groups, just change all the thing. Now your categorical variable is pass fail and your numerical or graph variable is maths. But here you need to transpose your box plot so that you can get a proper idea. So as I had like we had conducted this activity, now the same thing happens. Like box plot is there, we can also add crosshairs and we can know whether pass or fail on the basis of the grades. So this way we can find out the different ways to plot the graph. After that, we had done our worksheet number 8. See now here both the data, my X data and Y data, both are categorical data. Both are categorical data. There is a two category of department, that is A1 and A4, and there are three types of doctor, that is P, Q, and R. Now suppose both the data are categorical, and if I need to plot this kind of data, then again remember, whenever we are just plotting a categorical data, the bar chart or pie chart, this both option are available. But pie chart is always for one variable, so we need to remember bar chart. On the basis of bar chart, we just need to click stacked bar chart. Stacked bar chart, why? Because it is clubbing the variables. When we just click OK, it will ask our variable. So here the specialist and department, it has been inserted from, as I had worked on a data set. I just have to click on stack. I will just give OK and it would reframe me a stacked bar chart. So obviously this is also an important thing. We can get basic information by just applying crosshair and all that. We can prepare very nice bar chart and we can find out which person is working on which department. Even one more thing, you can change the dimension of stacked bar chart. Just give me 1 minute. Just again click bar chart, again click on stack bar chart. See here, specialist was first and then department. Rub all this. Just click department first and specialist afterwards, and just click OK. See the magic. You will get three bar charts, and it would be again a stacked bar chart, but it would represent many information like how many counts and how many department. Now it gives me departmental information like Dr. P is in blue color, Dr. Q is in red color, and Dr. R is in a yellow color. And it gives me like which doctor is working more in which department. So this way also I can extract the information. Till now, any doubt to anyone, students? Yes, no? Till now, students? Okay. Now we are moving towards our data set 9, which we had worked. Okay, this was very nice data set. It was our throughput timing, and it was having a variable that was training, that was yes and no. So on the basis of it, we had done a test that was known as empirical CDH or CDF test. So first thing which we need to do, we need to learn probability chart. So basically we have learned three types of probability plots, and that were, just give me 1 minute, that were normal distribution. Next was log normal distribution, and third was Weibull distribution. All are available in this only. So first we will check the normality. So first was normal. Like if I just check normal distribution of this, sorry, to click, I just has to click on it, and if I just click normal distribution, because it definitely gives predefined normal. So when I just click OK, it will show me the normal of my THT variable. So obviously my data was not normal. Even everything would be shown here. See, this data is moving out of the line. Even my Anderson-Darling's p-value is less than 0.0505. Obviously it is not coming under the proper thing. So now on the basis of it, I can apply many. I am having another two types of probability chart. So that can be prepared. That is our next probability chart is log normal. So log normal is nothing, taking the log of a data and applying the normality. It will show me the better result. Like it would show me some normality. We will check it. So see, my data is showing normality. Even my p-value is near to zero point 0.5, or you can say less, near to 0.05. So here my data shows some normality when I use log normal. Even the third was our Weibull distribution. Just the third is Weibull distribution. When I just click OK, it will also show me that data is normal or not normal. So in this case, I need to select from all of them. So log normal would be the best, but then also we would check. So see, my Weibull distribution also shows somewhat normality compared to normal distribution. But the best fit was, you can compare it. Like this is our first Weibull distribution. It shows some abnormality. The second distribution is, sorry, the second distribution was our log normal. It shows more normality. Just check it. See, all the data points are between this line, and even p-value shows strength. That is less than zero point 0, more than 0.05, and it shows me accuracy. Even your Anderson-Darling test is also showing that data shows normality. So on the basis of it, you can prepare your empirical CDF test and predict the outcome. So for example, on this data, I will just click OK. I will see the distribution. Here I will, by default it is normal, but as per my probability plot, I will set it and I will try to predict the data set before and after training. So in this data set, it is throughput time which has been given. So if I just wanted to predict, I just wanted to predict my data set on the basis of it. So see here the screen comes near this. Here it represents. So at 60% of the data, what would be the output? So when I just move to 60, it would give me the count of near about 273.928 minutes. So same way vice versa, I can predict my data on the basis of empirical CDF test. So this was the next thing which we had done. After that, we had seen, okay, after that we had seen our regression analysis. It was last done, so you all would be remembering all this. Here my bags were there and number of stoppages were there. See, first thing, if you want to check it, the first basic thing is you need to find scatter plot because both the data are numerical. So just click on it, just apply your x and y variable. So obviously your stops would be x variable and your bags would be y variable. Because of the stops, your bags were broken. It was a case of a T bags, if you remember. The T bags were broken due to the stops in a minutes that were given in our data set. So suppose your y variable is bags and your x variable is stops, you just click it and you find out whether there is a relationship or not. So first step, we need to follow this. We need to visualize whether our data set has a relation or not. Yes, obviously it has a positive correlation and it has a relationship. So our next step, see, just see the data set, we have a relationship. It goes our, like, if more the stops would be there, more the number of uh, uh, breaking of the bags of tea bags would be found. So there is a basic relationship. So we need to move towards finding a correlation. That was our second step. So we can find out correlation basically very easily by just clicking on basic step, going towards correlation, just enter both the data. Obviously, write down select Pearson correlation, never select rank correlation. When you find out, yes, there is a correlation that shows positive correlation. Now, suppose I want to find out a regression between them. So I can find out a regression by just clicking a fitted line plot. I will, as I had worked on it, obviously it is a linear regression. We can also use quadratic or cubic regression, but that is not, now it is required. Basically, in our Six Sigma, all the data would show linear relationship. If data doesn't show linear relationship, then you can apply this both. But most of the case in our production, there would be a linear relationship between two variables. So when you just go to it, just click on graph. 4 in 1 graph would show everything. Even you would just click on regular plot and just click OK. It would run a regression for you. Not only regression, but it would show first of all regression line. Say this, we had learned like y is equal to b a plus bx. The same thing, it is just setting a regression line. Here your a comes 6.30, and where, sorry, y is 6.30 and a plus bx, that is here somewhere. When you just do nothing, then if it is zero stop, then also 6.306 bags would be broken. So this way you can predict it by using a simple regression method. Even your adjusted r square and r square are there. Even you can see the four different plots that have been plotted for your data points. See, these are the four different data points. See, you check here normality. Our data shows the normality. Even our histogram, it shows a proper data. There are no outliers. Even there are versus fit, or you can say the data is lying between the line. So this way you can check the different assumptions of the regression method or regression model. So hopefully till now you are not having any doubt. Till now, is it clear to all? Very good. So now we would be moving towards data set 11. It is also showing some statistical test. Which test we would be just saying it. Okay. Now suppose both the data x and y both are categorical data, at that time I can use chi-square methodology, because obviously when both the data are categorical we can just count the data, and when we count it we have to just apply goodness of fit, or you can say chi-square methodology. But in Minitab there is a different way to apply chi-square. Just see, when we just click on states, we just have to move towards tables. In that table, we can find out chi-square test for association. We just have to click it. Obviously, rows and column both are categorical. Whatever you can insert, it is okay. You will just click on statistics. Sorry, students, it was disconnected due to network error. So, can anyone say what I was doing in my previous, like when it was connected, what was my last conversation? I was explaining ANOVA. Good evening to all. Am I audible? Good evening to all. Am I audible? Yes. What was my last task which was done like before I disconnected? I was explaining to stack the data and running the ANOVA. So where I had ended, can anyone see? Should I repeat ANOVA again? स्टूडेंट्स लास्ट में कहाँ पे डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ था और लास्ट क्या समझा रहा था कुछ मुझे बताइए फास्ट. Okay, I am explaining ANOVA again. So obviously, this is my data set, that is machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, and machine 4. And obviously, this way the data is given. In our textbook also, when we learn, the ANOVA would be given somewhere here. My more than, like here, there are more than two variable. And obviously, I just wanted to compare the mean. So for that, I am applying the ANOVA. But I cannot apply directly ANOVA to this kind of, you can say, data set. I need to convert the data set according to the need of a computer. So for that, we need to stack the data from columns, like from rows to columns. I just have to click it. Obviously, my machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, and machine 4. And as I had given the name Rohit, it would show me. So just see Rohit data set somewhere here, or again I would just change the name. Don't. So again I'm just clicking OK. See here my data set would be somewhat like this now. Here I am getting machine number, and this is my duration. So see the data has been stacked. It is like here machine number that is becoming your categorical variable, and duration that becomes your numerical variable, because software requires its own form to run the test. So when I just click on ANOVA, I just click on one way. Actually it has been run. So you just like wait. My variable would be response variable would be duration, and obviously my categorical value is machine number. I just go to graph and I just click on 4 and 1, and if I just click OK, the overall ANOVA would be run, and it would give me the output, like it would give me all the four different graphs that would show me the normality and other things. And even here, see here I had changed to 99% of confidence interval. So here it would create my null and alternate hypothesis. See my null hypothesis for ANOVA, that is all means are equal. Not all means are equal. That becomes my alternate hypothesis. Even it would write my alpha level, that is 0.01%, or you can say 1%. Even it runs, you can say test, and it gives me p value. It shows it is rejecting the, you can say, claim that whether my all means are equal. My means have difference, and that has been clearly shown. Even you can find out the mean values, that is shown here, like mean value for machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, and machine 4. You can find out even at 99%, you can find out your upper and lower limit. So this way you can run ANOVA in our mini tab. So now is it clear? ANOVA is clear? Yes, no? Good evening to all. Am I audible properly? Yes, great. Next, we are going to learn that is something which is non-parametric test. See the data set. Here my data set shows the training and not training data. Like for example, here the data set says that it has one numerical variable and another categorical variable, and I can just apply, you can say, Krushko-Wallace test. Uh, I just have to go to non-parametric. I just have to go to Krishko-Wallace test. As I had run the test, that's why it is showing the data which is entered. And on the basis of it, when I just click OK, I will get all the things, like all the non-parametric things. Like it will show me the medians are equal or not, because see, non-parametric doesn't take mean as a value or mean as an important consideration. It takes median as an important consideration. So here my null hypothesis for Krishko-Wallace test is all medians are equal, whereas alternate hypothesis shows or at least one of the median is different. So here my two variables are there, no and yes. So basically when I just compare it, like for example median of yes and no, it shows the difference, and that's why it it is rejecting. So that is, it is rejecting my null claim, that is all medians are not equal. Because of this, we can interpret it. So you can just write down that due to training, there is a huge impact on call timing, that is throughput time of a call. So is it clear? Yes, no? Is it clear, students? Great. Now, next data set was, okay, now my next data set was two, like it was like a t-test of data set. There were two fertilizer A and B, and it has been, you can say, sprinkled in a farm, and there were 10 plants of tomato. I had discussed with you 10 plants of tomato, and in 10 plants I had sprinkled fertilizer A. In another 10 plants I had sprinkled fertilizer B. Now I need to compare the median mean, whether both are having same mean or not. So here I will apply two, you can say, independent two test, and obviously it can be just applied by basic stats, just right. Okay. See, this type of data cannot apply t-test. We need to change again to our data set, which was our stack data set. So first we are moving towards data. We just stack it from rows to column. When we just, okay, it has been done by me previously, so just you like you need to enter the variable, write down the name of a you can say data set or worksheet. When you just click OK, you will get a stacked data. Stacked data means here you will get a fertilizer A, fertilizer B, and all the data points would be merged together. So this is type of fertilizer, and this is, you can say, weight of tomato. Now you can compare it by applying the t-test easily. So just clicking on stats, two sample t-test. Both samples should be in one column. So here again I am changing all the thing. Here weight would be there and my sample ID would be type. Even I can get a graph that is my individual value plot and box plot. When I just click OK, you will get box plot. You will also get this kind of dot plot. And at the end, see, this is the beauty of this software. It prepares our null and alternate hypothesis. So it prepares properly mean of wheat when type A, mean of wheat when type B. When it just prepares our hypothesis, see it prepares proper hypothesis, that is mean of 1 minus mean of 2 would be equal. So it is 0, it is not equal. So it shows p value which is less than 0.05. So your null claim is false and that is difference between two claim. So this way you can apply a you can say two sample t test that is independent. Now suppose data would be in a pad like after before situation would be there, then also you can apply it by clicking on a states and just here pad t-test. It will show me it. This way many statistical tests can be applied. So this much we had done and one topic is left. We had also done CP and CPK. We have found out on caffeine percentage. So I would just give me 1 minute. I would work on it. I would copy the data and so till now hopefully just give me 1 minute. I am students, just give me 1 minute. I am copying the data set and then I am showing you the CP and CPK that are our process capability ratios. Okay. Okay. So here I am just sharing it or just copying, pasting my data set. I just want to see my process capabilities. So again, I need to move towards quality tools, capability analysis. First, I need to check normality. So first step is to see the basic statistics of the data, whether it follows normality or not. So just click on graphic summary, just insert the data point, just click OK. This data set shows normality as we had worked on it. Our p-value is more than zero point 0.5. So this data set is showing normality. I can apply my capability indices on this. So just click on statistics, quality tools, capability analysis. Obviously, data is normal. So just insert caffeine. As I had discussed with you, the subgroup size should be 5. My lower specification is 0. My higher specification was 0.10 because I cannot enter more than 0.10% of caffeine. So here it shows me the data point. Just give me 1 minute. Yes, my screen is visible, no students? Yes, no? Students, my screen is visible. Okay, okay. So see here. Okay. So it shows normality, so I can apply process capability ratio. So just move towards states, move towards quality analysis, move towards capability analysis. Just enter caffeine percentage. Just write subgroup size 5. Just write lower specification as 0. Upper specification, as in this case, if the caffeine percentage moves about 10, then there is a problem. So just put point 10. Just click OK. See, this will show my process capability, my lower limit, my upper limit, my data normality. And here, some of the data from upper side is rejected. That is this much percentage, or you can say this much data is rejected. And that's why it will show me PPU, the upper limit will show me less than 1. And even CPU will show me less than 1. So this much data is in a rejection side. But the same data, if I am just increasing my limit, suppose the limit would be near about 0.20, all the data would be within my range and my all ratios are changed above 1. So this type of process is like my 0% of the wastage is there that would be shown in observed variable. Even my process capability ratios and like PP and CP all are greater than 1, so I can find out my process is giving good result. You can say within my upper and lower specification. So this much we had done in our overall Six Sigma quality workshop. So now, any doubt to anyone? Anything you want to learn again or anything? It's not visible now. Why it's not visible? Just wait, I am presenting again. Anything you want to learn again? Your process capability, should I repeat it? Because Kirtan is saying it was not visible. Kirtan, वापस सीखना है वो? Okay, just see here. Now is it visible, Kirtan? Now is it visible? Yes, just see here. Again, I am repeating process capability. See, these are the different caffeine percentage which are given. I 40 samples were there. Now, as I am just first step was we need to check normality. So basic normality can be checked through graphical summary. We just need to enter the variable. We just click OK. So see, everything would be here. Like our Anderson-Darling test shows more than zero point 0.5. So data is in our normal curve. So we can run process capability on the basis of it. So just click on states, click on quality tools, click on capability analysis, just click on normal. As I had run it previously, so it shows me everything. So caffeine percentage, remember subgroup size you can take as per the requirement of a sample size what you have taken. So here the sample size is 40, so I am preferring a lot of 5. If sample size would be 400, then I can take a lot of 10, 15, whatever as per my convenience as a inspection or whatever as per my convenience. So obviously like it should be in a 5 multiples of 5. Even my lower specification was 0, my upper specification was 0.20. When I just click OK, see, all the data points are in my range, the upper limit and lower limit. Even my process capability and you can say CP and CPK all are above 1. So this process has zero wastage, which can be seen from here. Nothing is outside in a region. Now, one more important thing that I need to teach you. You just go to quality tools. You just go to capability six pack and use normal distribution. Here the same thing you need to do. Caffeine subgroup size 5. Lower specification was 0. Upper specification was 0.20. When you just click OK, no, you will get each and every information. Just see. See how beautifully it has represented all the thing. Your range chart, your X bar chart, your subgroup, your capability plot that is CP and CPK, even your normal plot, even your normality plot, all these things are plotted. So this is an important thing which quality manager use, and that's why Minitab is preferred most. So here students, till now I had just explained all the things which we have worked in our Six Sigma workshop. Anyone wants to discuss anything, you can discuss it. Anything you need to ask, you can ask. Otherwise, I conclude here my workshop. Good evening to all, first of all. Good evening, all. Are you all listening? Yes. Now, till now, it is the concluding time. Any doubt to anyone, students? Anything which, like, for example, I am asking anything which you need to learn in a quality, or which I had, like, I had shown you the software. You want to ask something about Minitab, any feedback you want to give, or anything. Is it clear? Every concept which I had explained. इट वाज फन लर्निंग विथ मिनी टैब कीर्तन रुको मुझे मुझे आपसे फीडबैक चाहिए आपसे नहीं जितनों ने अटेंड किया है आई वुड शेयर अ लिंक आप मुझे अच्छे से फीडबैक देना सो इवन आई हैड लाइक नो सर क्यों दिव्येश नो एक फीडबैक तो बनता है ना सर के लिए इट इज फॉर कीपिंग अवर records and we need so I would just share a link. You just feel that feedback and obviously you have like enjoyed learning. That is a good thing. So here with your kind permission I am ending up my session. Everything like whatever I have taught is in your Six Sigma workshop. Try to download it. Like software भी है, इवन डेटा सेट वाला जो वर्ड एक्सेल फाइल है that is also there. Even the mini tab data set today which I had made, that is also uploaded. Okay, so you try. See, I just wanted to say one thing, that whenever we are learning, I am just giving initiation point. You have learned, but you need to apply in your day to day life. Like most of the concept we can apply it, like muda is there. We try to improve our efficiency and all that, time management was there. So all this try to implement and try to be efficient. You can say, I know you all are efficient, but be more efficient. So here, with your kind permission, students, I am ending up. Any doubt to anyone you can ask, otherwise thank you students, have a nice day. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I am sending a link in a group. Please write the feedback. Okay. Thank you, students.